You are listening to Radio Long Island City, recorded at our studios near Hell Gate, 9 kilometers north of the Harbor Hill Moraine. And now, the Observatory. The Observatory, Wednesday the 19th of February, 2025. It is 60 days after the winter solstice. It is 29 days before the spring equinox. By the French Republican calendar, it is the first day of Ventose, the month of wind. It is the day of the tussilage, or the colt's foot, a small flower used in herbal medicine. The sun rises today at 6:44 a.m. Solar noon takes place today at 12:10 p.m. The sun sets today at 5:36 p.m. Civil twilight ends at 6:03 p.m. and nautical twilight ends at 6:35 p.m. The length of daytime today is 2 minutes, 33 seconds longer than yesterday. The moon is in its waning gibbous phase and is 60% full at midday. The last quarter will arrive tomorrow. These are the predicted tides today for Horn's Hook. In the wee hours, high tide, 2:22 a.m., 1 meter 28. In the morning, low tide, 8:41 a.m., 3 centimeters. In the afternoon, high tide, 2:49 p.m., 1 meter 7. At night, low tide, 8:54 p.m., 9 centimeters. In our shared realm of plants and animals, swans have reappeared in Hallett's Cove after an absence of more than a month. Instead of 2 swans, there are now 4, perhaps 2 breeding pairs. If so, they are just in time for mating season, which begins in March. Commemorations. On this day in the year 1600, the Peruvian volcano Huayna Putina erupted explosively. It remains the most violent eruption in South America in all of recorded history. On this day in 1910, Mary Mallon, known to history as Typhoid Mary, a name she despised, was freed from forced isolation on North Brother Island. She was a lifelong carrier of typhoid, who had sickened many families who employed her as a domestic cook. On her release from quarantine, she promised not to work as a cook. Economic necessity, however, pushed her back to the stove, and many more people were infected. She would be returned to quarantine and live out the rest of her days on North Brother Island. A somber anniversary. On this day in 1942, President Franklin Delano Roosevelt ordered the detention and internment of all Japanese Americans on the West Coast. In 1988, Congress and President Reagan apologized for the internment. Never forget the livelihoods lost, the shame, and the camps. On this day in 1963, Betty Friedan's book, The Feminine Mystique, was published, a key text for feminism in the second half of the 20th century. On this day in 1473, Nicholas Copernicus was born in the city of Torun, Poland. The noted astronomer formulated a heliocentric model of the universe, placing the sun correctly at the center of the planet's orbits. Think of him as you watch the sun set tonight. And finally, today we wish a happy birthday to the author Amy Tan, born this day in 1952. She is best known for her novels such as The Joy Luck Club and The Kitchen God's Wife. Her new book, The Backyard Bird Chronicles, was published last year. Happy birthday, Amy Tan. And that is the Observatory, Wednesday the 19th of February, 2025.